You are live.
All right. Hey, welcome, Tony and Cherie. Thank you for taking the time to join us here at ERRT Radio on a Sunday afternoon when we all got nothing to do because, it's Sunday. Who does anything on Sunday, right? I didn't go to church today. I wasn't feeling very well in the morning time. Middle of the night, I don't know. I woke up with a coughing fit. I don't know. It was just kind of weird. It was what's waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning to cough. Anyway, you have those days, So I thought I didn't want to go to church and be coughing on everybody. So I thought I'd stay home today. And I watched.
I hope you feel better.
I do feel better. Yeah, I got over it, and whatever it was, it left me alone. I gave it the boot and sent it on its way. Anyway. Let's see. Let's get some other people on here. We're trying to get Charles and Maria back on here. So Maria, if you can rejoin us, there you go. There's Maria. And then if we can get Charles, can Charles get in here now?
Not at the moment. It says his device is not connected.
Oh no. Okay. Well, we're gonna give it a try. Is he on ERRT Radio? I wonder.
Never know with Charles.
Okay, Charles, you're supposed to be going live on ERRT Radio. Maybe I got to refresh. Maybe it is live and I have to refresh it.
I think it's coming in now.
He's connected.
Yeah, he's connected now.
Okay. All right, good deal. All right, so Charles. Okay, so anyway, so now you can kind of go into your short bio if you want, and then I got a little special gift I want to do for you guys if you are interested.
Awesome.
I'd like to do a reading for you both in person since I do it all the time on Monday night. So
I know. You do that every time they're on their show. Thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, very cool.
And I think I got the colors pretty well close to right, and the cards are always amazing. And go ahead and just go ahead and share your short intro or your bio if you want.
Sure.
Usually we do it the other way around, but we're going to do it this way today.
All right, sounds good. Well, Cherie and I, back in 2010, started investigating, and Cherie had an interest in the paranormal, and 12 years ago or 11 years ago, coming up on 12,
right,
I was complete skeptic. I didn't believe anything. The show started coming out 15 years ago, 16 years ago, and Cherie loved watching them, so she'd always say to me, come on, you got to watch this is really great. And I could sit through about 3 minutes, and then I'd be like, I'd get up, I'd walk away. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, this isn't real. I said, this is television. They're doing this for ratings. This stuff doesn't really happen. And she goes, you really believe that? I said, yeah. So I didn't pay any attention. And then Valentine's Day came around, 2010. And normally we'd go to a resort, hang by the pool, have drinks, enjoy the weekend. And she said to me, I want to do something different. I said, okay, what do you want to do? She goes, I want to go ghost hunting. And I was like, oh my God, you're kidding me. So I had two choices. I could either take her ghost hunting, or I could have her be upset with me until next Valentine's Day. So not wanting that to happen.
I think you took that, you take, because I have two choices. It's either Louis Vuitton purse or ghost hunting. I think ghost hunting is much cheaper, huh?
Not after the equipment. But, so I did some research online, found a hotel here in the Phoenix area that had so-called reputation for being haunted. And that was the San Carlos Hotel in downtown Phoenix. So I booked a weekend. I thought, okay, I'm done. But then I started doing a little bit more research and realized they were using special equipment. And I thought, well, she's not going to be able to investigate if she doesn't have any of this equipment. So I went out and bought EMF meter, digital recorder, night vision video camera. And thought, okay, now I'm done. So we went for the weekend and I played along. You know, we stayed up till 2:30 in the morning, wandering empty halls, the basement, asking questions, taking photographs, videotaping. And so we went through the weekend and she had fun. That was all.
Yeah, the best Valentine's gift ever.
Well, that's good. So I was happy. I thought she had fun. I figured the equipment would then get stuck in the back of the closet and sit there for the next 5 years till we threw it out. But we got home and she started going through it. And the pictures, she kept calling me over. What the heck is that? What's that light? What's that? Looks like a body apparition. These weren't here when we took the photos. Then we went through the video, same thing. Then we started going through the audio, and where we were absolutely alone. We were one of 3 guests in the entire hotel, and the other 2 were long in bed after probably 10, 11 o'clock. There was no one around. But we were calling out saying, you know, is there anyone here? Can you give us your name? All these answers were on the audio. And I spent months trying to come up with reasonable and rational explanations for how this was there. And I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I could not come up with a scientific reason or a reasonable explanation how this got there.
Right.
So finally I said to Cherie, I said, okay, if I can't debunk it, let's go back and try it again.
Right.
So we did. And we got more of the same voices, the same names. So then we went back again and again and again.
We investigated that place for more than 50 times.
Over 50 times we investigated that location.
That's awesome.
And the evidence just kept coming.
Yeah.
You know, we had voices, we had names. We would call out for the name and they would reply with an answer on the EVP. I would ask for Candy and Candy would reply, I'd be like, Candy, are you here? Yes, hello, would show up on the EVP.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then we started getting into other equipment, spirit boxes and all sorts of other things. Yeah. And so that's how it started. And we've never, almost 12 years now, we've been doing this. And it grew. So we moved past that location and we started going to other historic haunted locations. We started doing other hotels that were said to be haunted. We started finding ones that weren't even listed but had a reputation. We kept going to all of them. We've been to almost every haunted location in Arizona. And then from there, we spread out to different states, Nevada, California, all over. We've been to Ohio, we've been to Wisconsin, we've been to New York, we've been to the tri-state area. We just finished a 4-mansion tour, and a ton of other ones. I can't name them all off, and then we started international. We were in Japan and we were in the Philippines. We got to investigate the
Old Felt. No, not Old.
No,
Diplomat Hotel.
We got to investigate the Diplomat Hotel in Baguio City, Philippines, which was just one of the craziest places we've ever investigated. Not only could we get them to reply to us on EVP, but we got replies in English, Japanese, Tagalog, and Latin, which was just incredible. But the weirdest part was we could hear the responses with our own ears, which was just insane. So that was a great experience. But that's pretty much the history of how Entity Voices started. And then we joined up with 4 other team members, Chris Allgood and Audra Keeler, when we were running the old Phelps Dodge Hospital which is unbelievably haunted. We did that for about three and a half years.
Yes.
But unfortunately the building sold and is now going to be turned into a hotel. But this building was extremely haunted and caught amazing stuff there. And Chris and Audra lived here in Phoenix with us, so they helped us run and operate the old Phelps Dodge Hospital. And then we obviously do a Monday night show on KGRA called Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. Every week we review either evidence our own team has captured, or we call in investigators from across the country, even the world, and let them show evidence that they've captured from various locations. And we do that Monday nights. So that's when Ron and Lourdes joined the team.
Yes.
And like I said, we got to do the 4-mansion tour out in the tri-state area. We did Kingsland Manor, Kreischer Mansion, Selma Mansion, and White Hill Mansion in 4 days with maybe 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. It was awesome.
Oh, wow. That's the best. When you get so much evidence, and especially when you can hear it with your own ears or see it with your own eyes, that's the fun part.
Right.
Because every time you go investigating, if you can't see, hear, or feel it without equipment, then it just doesn't seem to be that fun.
No, you're absolutely right. And, for us, there's lots of paranormal investigators out there that personalized feeling or sensation, that can be just as good of evidence as anything else, sometimes even better. Mm-hmm. But for us, because it can't be replayed or shown to others, we tend to go towards equipment, recordings, spirit boxes, where we can replay that evidence for other people to see, hear, and experience as well. Although they are both very significant, and a personal experience of a feeling or being touched or can have more impact to that individual than even the best capture from some type of equipment.
Right. There's Charles.
Yeah, and hi Charles.
Hello,
and I like that idea, Tony. And what my thought was originally when I first reached out to you is, one, to give you more time. You don't seem to have enough time on some of the shows you're a guest at, and you're being interviewed on your gift, on your talents, and you both want to share so much information. And the time that you have on these shows, you only have, an hour and 45 minutes, and then they have commercials. We don't have commercials here. So you don't have to worry about the commercials here. You just run it, So, but, so the thing is, here is your opportunity to have extra airtime, no worries about, just show up. You just got to show up and have fun sharing what you want to talk about. And that's the main thing right there. And if you want to show a clip, 2, 3, 4 times, whatever, and we're not trying to compete. I always say it's a community, not a competition. Okay, and that should be all the way through the whole thing. When you're talking about whatever you're talking about, paranormal, when you're talking about UFOs, it should not be a competition. Okay, that's why the political scene is so messed up nowadays, because everyone's trying to grab all the money and all the support and everything they can instead of trying to run the damn country. That's a whole other show. But anyway, but on our situation with exploring the paranormal and the UFOs and things like that, let's all work together and get the message out there. Okay.
Well, that's a great point, Ronald, because we've been saying that from day one. If you look at advancements over the last, oh my God, I don't even know how many years, there are very few. I mean, the fact that EVPs could be captured, have been captured on every recording device ever known. Even a single wire recorder. There were Tibetan monks that were recording their chants and realized they had voices on there that weren't in the room. And then you go to the reel-to-reel recorders, same thing. EVP showed up. When you go to, be careful with that mouse because you will click us off. When you look at then cassette recorders or then today digital recorders, EVPs have showed up on every recording device ever known, but nothing is known beyond that. Nothing has been determined how it's happening. There's theories, don't get me wrong. Lots of people have put out theories, and we have our own theories about how that's occurring. But, we're looking to figure out how that's happening. What kind of energy is being used? What kind of mics bring in better EVPs? Or do they even use a mic? We've noticed that at times, the EVP can get put on the machine without necessarily the mic even recording it, meaning that you can have 2 or 3 recorders set up a foot apart from each other, and the EVP can show up on only one of them. The other 2 don't have them, which means from a physics perspective, if that's truly a sound wave, that's an impossibility. That sound wave would have hit all 3 mics of all 3 recorders and should be on every one, but we know that doesn't happen. So therefore, that tells us that, because we've had that happen a lot, that tells us that that message is being delivered outside of a sound wave, whether that be electromagnetic frequency, radio wave, mental energy, that it's going directly to the machine. That's fascinating to us. And we've also realized that we can be saying vocally what our question is and actually have the response show up prior to us even finishing the message. And that tells us that they're not receiving our question from our vocals. They're getting it through the same energy they're sending it back on, whether that's through electromagnetic frequency that's coming out of our brain or our consciousness, but it's not coming from my vocal tone. They're not listening to me speak. They're getting that message somewhere else. All these questions have thrown us down the path of ITC, building different types of spirit boxes. And I think we're on, 12, yes. 13? Our newest one's really cool because it still uses static noise for the spirits to manipulate, but it's not audible. So when you turn it on, it's crystal clear and you don't hear anything until they speak. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I see the improvements that you have made just within your technique of trying to reach out to the spirits. You're not just trying to do it for the TV show. You're doing it because you have a genuine, you're curious about it, but you have a genuine reality check on what you're trying to find out, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Right.
And so you're not just trying to sell books. You're not trying to just sell a movie. You're not just trying to get your name out there. Your name's already out there. But anyway, but you're actually doing it from a research scientific point of view. And
it's the passion.
It's a passion. Once we got involved, that passion hooked on real quickly. And we don't even do it today to prove to us that they exist, because we've experienced so much that we know they're there.
Yeah.
The real curiosity is finding out what else they can do. We have no idea what the boundaries are. When we get a voice that responds, we don't know whether it's somebody that passed away, is a spirit. Mm-hmm. We don't know if it's an extraterrestrial. We don't know if it's a multidimensional. You have no idea. It's like fishing. You drop that line in the water and you don't know what's going to bite on it. And that's what is absolutely fascinating to us, is to try to find out some answers. Do we think that we are probably at times communicating with more than just spirits? Yeah, I think we are, just because of some of the answers that we've gotten. And it's always so much fun to try to be able to push those boundaries to see what they will answer and when they'll stop. Because over the last 10 years, we know that we'll hit a certain point that they'll just stop answering. And it's maybe because we're not supposed to know, or it's too much information, not sure. But we know that a point hits where they just don't want to give any more answers.
Right.
Funny memory came to mind when you mentioned fishing. I was in a little aluminum, 10-foot boat, with the electric motor on it, and in California, in a little lake called Chabot Lake in California, from a college, at a college site. Anyway, I was maybe 6 or 7 or 8 years old, whatever. My sister is a couple of years younger than I am. My brother is a couple of years older than I am, and my dad. And so out of the 4 of us that were in the boat, my sister was the first one that caught the fish, right? You would think that all of us would have caught a fish by then in a small lake, right? Well, I only caught one fish, and it wasn't then. I was many years later in North Carolina on a river. I put the line in the creek, and I got a small catfish. It was too small to even eat, so I had to throw it back. That was the only time I caught a fish my whole life. And I said, from the time of that aluminum boat episode, I said, I'm not going to fish anymore, period. And the only time I went fishing was that one time when my friend said, here, why don't you try it and see if you catch anything? And when I caught that one fish, it was like, hey, I actually caught a fish, but it was too small to keep. But I did catch it, though, that thing. So when we have doubts, when we have non-understanding of the situation, how do we handle that? Like, how do you handle something like, that makes no sense? How can that be happening?
Well, that's the thing about the paranormal, is that most of the time it doesn't make sense. And that's the reason it's called paranormal. It's above and beyond normal. Paranormal activity does not follow the laws of physics. It's above and beyond them. And hopefully someday physics will be able to catch up, and some of the stuff that we are experiencing can be explained. I mean, if you go back couple hundred years, a lunar eclipse was considered paranormal because nobody understood what was happening. Today, science is caught up. Science can explain how a lunar eclipse occurs, and it's not considered paranormal anymore. We know what's happening. Hopefully, within the field of the paranormal, that will happen as well. And I think science has made some great strides in the right levels to be able to start to catch up. And I think a lot more will come in the future. But we don't know the boundaries of the paranormal. We don't know the variables. We don't know what can and can't be done or how far it goes. That's the interesting part about constantly researching, is to figure out, what other things have we not experienced or that we don't know can happen. And there are hundreds, just like you were talking about fishing. When you drop that line and you don't know what's going to bite, you don't know when it's going to bite, and you don't know how big it is or how bad it is or anything in between. That's the same with the paranormal. And every time we go out, we're not sure what we're going to come up against. But your technique in how you paranormal investigate, just like in fishing, determines what you attract, what you catch, and how many you catch.
It's an attitude thing. Attitude thing.
And I think also it's communication. If you have attachment or communication with other spirits, that can,
that helps. And one of the best things Cherie did when we started was, she always said to me, I'd go in and I'd just start asking questions, and she'd say to me, stop asking questions, introduce yourself. And
I heard her say that. Yeah, I heard her say that before.
Right. And she'd always say to me, tell them who we are. Tell them why we're here. Tell them we're not here to hurt them. We are only here to communicate. Hey, Bobby.
Hello, Tony. Hello, Cherie. Hello,
Hi,
everybody. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. But that was the thing. That was the thing that she did, and I followed her instruction, and that helped us out tremendously, because I think we developed a communication and trust relationship with spirits and entities And that helped us in the long run. We noticed a year or two later that we could go to locations we had never stepped foot in before. And we noticed they were calling us by name because we spent the last year or two introducing ourselves. So there's some type of universal consciousness that's shared amongst entities that was passed along, which was really cool experience for us.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
It occurs to me that one of the things we need to do is just get a bigger net.
There you go.
That's an excellent point.
Anything we can add to that, you know?
That's an excellent.
So many things have been discounted. It's like you said with the recorders. You know, have you ever actually tried working with two like identical off-the-shelf recorders?
We have.
Okay, I figured that was pretty obvious. But
yeah,
and
we've done tests. Yeah, we've done tests from.
It's obviously a local phenomenon of some sort. I don't know. I think something like something psychokinetic is going on, and that's kind of a buzzword too anymore. But it's not sound. It's not a generally. It's not an electromagnetic wave, or it would be picked up by multiple sensors. It's definitely something else. We just haven't quite got a grip on it.
You're absolutely correct. We're getting some really bad audio feedback. I don't know if you guys are hearing that.
yeah.
But
I'm sorry. I'm actually watching Formula One racing. I'm sorry.
Just mute the sound. You can watch it. Mute the sound. But anyway, while we're at a break real quick, while we're thinking about what else to say, I got my little tarot cards here. All right, you see these? Okay, you see those? A.E. White?
Yeah.
Okay. And then here's the back of the cards. Okay. Standard tarot deck, 78 cards. Cherie, what I got for you for a color, as always, you're green. What green means is that you have a caring heart. You're a very caring person, which I believe that. Okay. And most women have green in their aura. Okay. So that's pretty much normal because most women are mothers. They're a caring person. They care for family. They care for children or whatever, you know, and so they have that attitude already built into it. Men aren't always green all the time. We don't always have that same philosophy. But anyway, some do, but not everybody does. Tony is always orange, though. Now, what orange means is that Tony is always creating things, always coming up with new ideas, which this is a new idea, right? So here we are, and we're at a new idea. And so, anyway, orange for Tony. So Charles is usually green. Charles is one of the green ones. He has a good caring personality. But he also has the blue because he likes to talk a lot. Blue means the voice, the throat. Okay, so you go with the chakra colors of the body. Okay, if you look at the chakra colors of your body system and the energy systems of your body, you can see the colors that I'm talking about. Okay, now Bobby is usually orange and green, I think, for the most part. Orange is primary. And when I say two different colors, the one that I say first is usually the one closest to the body. And then on a separate layer, there is another layer of that other color. They don't mix. Okay? I see two different layers. So like when I'm reading the group, when you have the group on Monday night, and I read the group, and I see two different colors for some people, okay? Then I can see that there are two different layers of those colors. So one might be orange and green, you know, in your case, yours is all green. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and Cherie, I got 3 for you for shuffling. So I'm going to shuffle 3 times, and then I cut the deck. I always cut the deck. It's something I started doing just because it has a better feel to it when you cut the deck. Like when you're at the casino and you're playing the poker table, you want to cut the deck, So it's kind of like the same thing. Hopefully, when you cut the deck, you cut it at the right place and get a good card out, right? So anyway, we're gonna cut the deck now, and then we'll see what we get. All right, we're gonna get
And let me
that.
tell you something, he's getting really, really better at this for sure.
Yeah.
I just want to
Okay.
comment while he's doing that about what Ron just mentioned, the fact that even terrestrial radio is not something our ears can pick up. That's an excellent point, Ron. And back to what Charles was saying as well, is that, we don't know exactly how that's happening or what way that energy is coming in. But the fact that, EVPs have been picked up on machines where you're using a diode mic, which doesn't even record sound. So therefore, that is being transmitted in a way that is completely unheard of for the recorder itself. It's not a physical sound wave. And therefore, it's also the reason why sometimes you play an EVP and it's backwards and you have to reverse it. Well, could something have gone wrong in that electromagnetic transmission of that energy? But all great points, just great points.
Here's Cherie's card.
All right.
The
Chariot.
Chariot.
Now, you can kind of look that up. You kind of understand that was upright, but you kind of understand that means something about maybe going places, doing something, exploring, stuff like that. But we can look up the actual meaning if you want. And you can actually look that up. But what I like to do is I go to my phone, and I have this app on my phone to make it really easy to use, believe it or not. So got my fancy dancy smartphone. All right. So then I just go in to where I got it saved. For the guys on radio, this is really boring, I know. But anyway, you're gonna have to bear with us.
Yeah, man.
Bear with us. All right.
Radio
so now we got,
can be entertaining at times. So don't let them lie to you.
But what's nice about that though is that they can watch the video, and they can watch the video. Now that Cherie, that is a major arcana card, as you know, and that's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime a major arcana card shows up in a reading, it's usually, as long as it's upright, it's usually a good sign. Okay. So, let me see here now. Where is it now? Funny, now you'd think I'd have these memorized already, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you, I'm doing it on the fly, and I'm not trying to pull any strings. I'm actually doing it just from the way that I am sensing things.
Hello, Keith.
All right, so anyway, now I can't find. There it is. Okay. There it is. Okay, so the chariot. Here's what it looks like on the. Oh, get it sitting right. Hold on. Okay, you can't see that. Anyway, that's the page. The chariot says control, willpower, success, action, and determination. That sounds like you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, see, now I didn't set that up. I shuffled the cards, I cut it, and I pulled the card. And that's the card you got, and that's what it says there. Now, I didn't make that up. That description comes from Biddy Tarot, by the way, in case you want to look her up. And she has a lot of fun stuff on that page. Learn all about what the cards mean. Now, Tony, you were orange, a creative, and I picked 5 for you. I think 5 is a good number for you. I don't know why 5, but just come to mind. 5. Is 5 something common to you for a number?
No, not really.
5 drinks, 5.
Then what
5
is
slices of pizza, yes.
There you go, 5 slices of pizza. All right. So let me shuffle. I'm going to shuffle.
I usually
5
eat the whole thing, so it just depends on how many you cut it in. I can cut it in half, and that's only 2.
Don't get me started when I eat those tortillas party pizzas all at once.
Bobby, I think you get all you want anytime you go to the dinner table, right?
Yeah,
This-
I
This
always
is a-
tell them like every first of the month, each should get some pizza.
Yeah. Okay, now.
This is
All
a
right,
great
well,
opportunity for us, though, to be able to get a chance to talk about the things that we do, because normally on our shows and stuff, we're interviewing other people. So I just want to say to any of the guests out there, if you've got questions, feel free to type them in. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. If you're listening to this on ERRT or ERRT, I'm sorry. Maybe a little bit more difficult for you to get your question so that we can see it, but any questions that come in.
Yeah, let me get the Mixer app loaded, and I'll be able to relay the questions for you.
Okay, that'd be great.
The page of Pentacles. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Now, remember now, I put your card back in there, and then I shuffled it 5 times and cut it, and then that card came up, the Page of Pentacles. So let's see what that means. Uh-oh. In a normal life, what?
All right, well, he does that. I'm just going to answer Erin's question. She says,
Oh, go ahead.
I joined a bit late today. Did you mention whether you both have a favorite piece of equipment to work with?
Oh, there you
We
go.
definitely do. I'll let Cherie answer that first. What's your favorite piece of equipment?
My favorite is my digital recorder and also my Mel meter.
Mine will vary by location, but without a doubt, probably the Spirit Box, just because of the responses that we're able to get on them. And to me, when you get a spirit to answer, there's so much more information than just what the answer is. You can tell whether the spirit is an adult or a child. You can tell whether it's male, female. You can tell what language it's speaking in. You can tell if there's a dialect. There is an entire slew of information that comes to you before even you listen to the response given. So that's all on top of it. You can sometimes sense emotion, what kind of mood they're in, whether they're happy, whether they're scared, whether they're upset. So verbal communication for me anyway, and I think Cherie probably falls along the same lines going after EVP.
Yeah.
But that to us is huge, just because of the amount of information that can come from. It's always
fascinating when you capture some, EVPs.
Absolutely. And even after almost 12 years, still, when you get that crystal clear Class A EVP that no one has to fight about what's being said and everybody agrees, that's an amazing feeling.
Exactly.
All right. So now, Tony, remember your color was orange, correct?
Correct.
Orange means you're what? You're creative. You come up with new ideas. And now here's what the Page of Pentacles means. And you can look these up later if you want. But it means manifestation, financial opportunity, and skill development. That does go along with you, exactly. So,
that seems to make sense.
And what's interesting is you got your new camera equipment. You're having to learn all that and skill development, right? There you go.
Yeah.
Now,
very busy with that. We got a bunch of new cameras. We got new editing software. We got gimbals. So there's a lot of learning involved. I shot some stuff this morning that didn't come out real great, but it's the learning process. So we'll keep going with that. But But wanted to go back to the concept about what you were saying about that this isn't a competition, and you're absolutely right. And I'm just going to pop up what Erin said here, and she said, love that you both use different equipment to balance your investigation out. That's so important. And that's also important not only for single investigators or a group of investigators, but for the entire community. Not everyone's going to do everything the same, and you don't need to do it the same. Differences will help uncover different answers. But what we need is to work together. Without that, no one's going to figure this out on their own. Mm-hmm. And the people that have the answers are no longer here. So unless we're getting their answers via EVP or spirit boxes, no single person is going to finish this out. It's got to be a collective para-unity where we're working together and taking evidence from multiple locations across the globe and saying, okay, this is consistent, this matches, and cataloging that and testing it in other locations until you can finally say, okay, yeah, this seems to be some type of constant within the paranormal, and then working off that to grow those theories. But no one's going to do it alone. It's going to be done as a group, and it has to be done as a group.
I like that.
Yeah,
I just want to say hello to Ron and Lourdes. They're watching right now.
Team members of Entity Voices.
Aaron Bush, hi. Kate Bailey.
If we got room, you can add them in if you got room. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah. So Tony and Cherie, name something in your next investigation or at any investigation you go to that you don't have in your possession that you love to try to have it in your possession. Like you come up with so many great things to do investigations, like the Phasma box. And I think there was one for the Dark Zone last year. Do you think of what you wear like a blindfold and you put this headset on and it's like ghosts galore. And
you're talking about the Estes method, and we've done that. We own just about everything that maybe not everything.
Well, you have that God's helmet. Remember, it's
we do have the God's helmet.
Yeah. Too.
Well, it's uses magnetic frequency to literally alter the brain's composition of what it's really cool. I haven't used it lately, but the only items we don't have are items that we either don't put stock in or don't feel that there's any validity to them. Yeah. So is there an item that I would want that I don't have? Off the top of my head, the only one I can think of is Ron Iacovetti's DRV. It's a direct radio voice machine, and it doesn't use scanning radio. It uses single frequency static channels with no radio transmission on it whatsoever. And then what he does is he combines two signals, a high frequency and a low frequency. And so neither frequency has any transmission on it at all. But when they're combined, it produces like this noise level that produces speech. And we've gotten question after question. Bobby, I'm just going to mute your mic for a second. I'm getting feedback from you like crazy.
Yeah.
So we used it when we did the 4-mansion tour and caught full sentences to our questions. Oh, yeah. And it's amazing technology. And Ron's whole theory behind it is that the European community has been using this for years. Yeah. And it was really, I was aware of DRV, but it was the first time I really got to experience.
Yes, when we went to New York.
Right. They were calling out people in the groups by name. They asked for April to come to the basement. Just response after response out of nowhere. So you just hear this static white noise level, and then this voice would just come out of nowhere, and there's no radio frequency to it. So
can you share some of those that are not community properties or somebody else?
I can. I don't have any of them loaded. I didn't know you'd want to hear clips.
Oh, okay.
So that would take me time to load them, and I don't think we want to do that while being live.
Maybe we can do that at another show.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing stuff.
What I would have, what I dream, my dream opportunity or goal is give you guys basically an extra day or an extra time slot where you can be on the air and have the opportunity to share some of what you don't get to talk about, like we were talking about before. And not trying to, again, not trying to compete against anybody, not trying to, cause any waves with anyone, just trying to give you extra time and give you some more listeners. If you go to my live page on ERRT Radio, you can see that on there I have over 71,000 total listens. That's 71,000 ears that are actually more than that, but that are listening to the show on ERRT Radio. Okay.
Right.
Almost 71.5, Ron. It's almost there.
So think about that. There's that many more people that are listening to my little, what I call I always say not too bad for a sideline gig, No,
not bad at all. And we greatly appreciate that, because it's one thing we love to talk about. It's paranormal, and we could probably speak for weeks without taking a breath. So we love doing that.
Yeah, so my door is open for you, and I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers or make any waves or anything. I'm doing it purely for the joy and the love of the opportunity to hear more, to see more, and for you to have the opportunity to share your passion, like what you were saying, it's a passion, and share that opportunity. No cost, doesn't cost anything. Just, whatever you got going on right now, just stream it over to my station, and we can share the audio part of it, and we can have the video part of it right here and have fun. And when you're available, I know on weekends you might have a trip you might have to go on, and then we'll have to take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the trip or whatever. We'll figure all that out as we go along and get this done. But on your opportunity time and your free time, you have the opportunity to do it. We're here. The door is open.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
That's very cool, Ron. Thank you.
It depends if I have a schedule.
Yeah, your schedule lately has been worse than mine. Aaron's asking a question. Do spirits seem to have a preference of equipment?
That's a good question.
That's a great question, Aaron. Sometimes, yes. A lot of people will say, well, how can spirits even know how to use some of the newer equipment? But you know what? We caught something on the last of the 4-mansion tour that I never expected to hear. And we had a parabolic mic running in one of the back rooms, and Timothy Dalton and Dennis Tassone were in what was called the bloody bathroom, and they were talking about what equipment they were going to use. And I don't know if they pulled this piece of equipment out, but this voice comes out of nowhere, and we haven't released this yet. So
I know
I'm giving a little teaser here, but this voice out of nowhere,
it's crazy. Oh
deep
my gosh.
voice says ovulus. And when I heard it, I was absolutely shocked. So I sent it both to Tim, and Tim sent it to Dennis to make sure neither one of them had said that word. And they both wrote back and said, that's not us. We didn't say that. We were the only one on the floor. That's not us.
Lourdes says it's on YouTube.
Lourdes, it's only on YouTube for you. No one else can see that because it's review process. But anyway, that's something to look forward to when we do release White Hill, and we're going to release Selma here shortly. But do they have a preference over equipment? Sometimes. But what they have a bigger preference on is individual. Who's asking the question? There are times Cherie can get answers that I can't get. Sometimes it's vice versa. It depends on the spirit responding. It depends on the person asking the question. It depends on the energy, the connection level. There's so many factors involved that determine whether you get a response or not. And it depends on what type of question is asked. I mean, on typical haunted locations, how sick do you think the spirits are of hearing? How did you die? When did you die? Do you know you're dead? Oh my gosh. If somebody came into my old house and asked me that 50 times a week, I wouldn't answer any of them. I wouldn't even be there.
That's so true.
Boy. Yeah.
It's
So
like a
now,
broken record question.
Right.
now I heard you say talking about that you can tell when it's a female or a male or a child or an adult or whatever. And I mentioned you before, I think, or you might have heard me talk about it in my house, my own house. I have spirits. Now, I don't like to say ghost hunting. I don't think that's the proper term. I don't think they're ghosts. I think they're people that haven't moved on. They're still just hanging around somewhere. I don't know. So spirit would be more of a proper term. They are spirits of whoever they are. Hopefully they're of somebody that was here, and hopefully it wasn't a bad situation, you know. Now I can't imagine that maybe some evil entity, which I can't figure out why they would, if they have all that power, why they would play tricks on you. But you know, I guess it's possible. Anything's possible in that realm, you know. So, but what I have noticed in my place is I've noticed. Actually, one woman I sent to go talk to somebody, and they got them to actually go to where they had to go. So they left. They actually got to where they had to go. They went to the light, whatever you want to call it, right? In the other situations, though, they're still hanging around. For instance, just the other night, I'm sitting in my chair here where I sit all the time, and I always have TV on, okay, because for my own distraction. Because if I don't have TV on, I hear all kinds of noises in the house. so I have the TV on just to keep me distracted, and keeps them busy, keeping me distracted. But anyway, I felt someone tap me on my left arm. You know, it's right next to me is the wall. There's no way nobody's there, just a wall. But something just tapped me on my arm, pushed my arm. It wasn't my muscle moving. It was something touching my arm, pushing my arm.
Wow.
And I looked, and nothing there. You know, of course there was nothing there. But I could feel something was definitely there. But I
It's
didn't
trying
feel
to get
scared.
your attention.
Yeah. And so now I know. I had, you know who Tanya Medea is, right? Joey and Tanya Medea, and
I
they
think
do
so.
the ghost paranormal research. And anyway, they're good friends of mine. Tanya is kind of my spirit counselor in this realm of the spiritual guidance type of thing, and she helps me understand a lot of things of what I'm dealing with. So anyway, before I told her about anything in my house, she said, "Is it okay if I do a remote walkthrough?" And she's a Reiki master, okay? And so she does a remote walkthrough of my house. Okay, and she says, "Oh, I've seen this person and that person and that person and that person." And then I told her everyone that I see, and it was all the same ones that I see. You know, and I described the 10-year-old boy that I have that runs around and plays, you know, taps me on my shoulders and goes and hides behind, you know, I can't see him. Of course, I can't see him in the real light anyway, but, you know, I can sense that he's there, you know. And they're just playing around, just being a kid, you know, not a big deal. And I have an old man here that smokes either a pipe or a cigar, or maybe both of them at different times. But this particular one time, I actually smelled a cherry cigar when I got back from New York the last time. And I actually smelled a cherry tobacco, which would be generally a pipe smell, I think. Usually a pipe tobacco for the cherry tobacco, right? So anyway, I smelt that, and I was trying to figure that out. But anyway, one day I was sitting here in my chair. I had my headphones on, and somebody hit me on top of the head from the back, just like that, you know. And I looked. Of course, there ain't nobody there, you know. But I could feel a definite someone tap me. My friend Mike isn't here, and you know, and anyway, this one woman, I didn't know her name at the time, but this one woman was running around. I heard her shuffling around. I heard her walking and closing doors upstairs and everything like that. I said, and I'm in the bathroom and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, now if you want to go home, you need to go and talk to my friend Tanya. Okay, because Tanya's already met her here in the house. Okay, so Tanya's already seen her, already communicated with her on some kind of way. And she said, I told her, you got to go talk to Tanya in Ohio. She already knew where she was, obviously, right? So then that weekend, Tanya does her normal routine where she walks around her house on her own to see who's there, you know, whatever she does, and whatever Reiki Master does, I don't know. But anyway, she does her thing, walks around her house, and she sees this woman in her kitchen. Right? The woman has this old man that's standing behind her. She didn't talk to the old man, but she could see the old man. And it was the same old man that was in my place, okay? But now, she got the woman's name, and Tanya asked her if she needed some help. She said, what is your name? And the woman said, Colleen. I never knew the woman's name. So after that, though, when I sent her to Tanya, then Tanya helped her go to where she had to go because she never came back here. But what was funny was I didn't hear about this till the next week when we had our session. And then Tanya said, well, yeah, I got a visit in my kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning. And she told me her name, and then I helped her get to where she had to go. And that's a real story too. I didn't make that up.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's very cool. Very cool.
The others I just talked to and I have fun. I know they're here. They're not hurting me or anything like that. So I don't let them bother me, and I don't bother them. I don't try to harass them or anything like that. And so I just thought that was pretty interesting how that works.
Yeah, you know, there's differences amongst different paranormal investigators on whether, you know, and everybody's got their own theory, but whether a spirit or a soul can get trapped. My personal opinion is, you know, we even as human beings, we have a consciousness. We have free will. We have free will of choice of where we want to go, what we want to do, if we're going to do it, if we're not going to do it. If your consciousness survives death, which it would have to in order for us to be speaking with some other consciousness or entity that's not bodied in front of us. When we ask a question, and due to timing and relevance of the answer that comes back shows that it understood what we were asking and answered the question, that tells me that if that consciousness went with it, that free will went with it as well, meaning that it chose whether it was going to answer me or not. If you look at even how any of the physics work with rain, you know, clouds drop rain, the water falls, it collects in puddles and then rivers and then flows to the ocean, then re-evaporates and then starts all over again. A flower blooms, produces its flower, then produces a seed, drops the seed, a new plant grows. Everything's circular, but you're going to tell me that the human spirit can just get stuck or lost? That to me doesn't make any sense. So we stopped trying to send spirits over or cross them over. Our personal opinion is if they're somewhere, they have a reason for being there, and it's not our job to interrupt it. You know, but then people can turn around and say, well, how come you always hear EVPs or spirits saying, help me, which we do. We get that. Mm-hmm. But the next question is are they speaking to us? Are they speaking to another entity? Did I pick up a conversation between two? So there's a ton more answers to figure out. But anyway, that's just a theory and just my personal opinion. But we don't try to cross anything over anymore, just because we'll remove stuff from private homes, and we've done that. They've shown up in other places, but we have done that.
Yeah, I don't think Tanya was trying to send her home in a negative way. The woman was asking to be, helped. She was asking for help. Obviously, she showed up to talk with Tanya, so she was asking to be helped. So I don't think that was anything bad or negative that happened there. I just thought it was pretty amazing how we both had the connection with this one person. It was like, that's kind of weird. So I'm not making it up. I see things, and I actually know that they're here. And when she told me what she saw, and it was like, okay, then I'm not making stuff up. I'm not imagining it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think that's what we need. We need validation for most of this stuff. And those on the outside of the paranormal field, they don't believe in it for one reason or another. Their spiritual lives or their Christianity lives or whatever won't allow them to investigate any of it because it goes totally against their belief system. So, but what I think that we need to understand is that it's a lot. It's way different than what we learn, as a young Christian or as a spiritual person or even as a human being. There's a lot more going on in this planet and in this universe than we could even understand or try to explain. So
that's very true, Ron. And there's a big difference between your religious background and your spiritual belief system. I mean, they're absolutely completely different. But those are all great points, and there's so many variables that can get in the way of so many things, and sidetrack and confuse issues. So it's a big process to sort out, but it's one of the things that we try to get enough evidence to get some sort of theory to build off of and continue that to find hopefully some answers, because that's the one thing the paranormal community probably is lacking on. Everybody likes to go out and ghost hunt and look what I caught. We love that too, don't get me wrong. But it would be nice to be able to get some of the pieces to at least start to fit together to be able to get some answers. And that's what we're in the process to do. But with that said, I want to thank you guys so very much. I know Cherie's got a ton of things she's got to accomplish today, and I think we're well over the hour mark. But I want to thank you guys for letting us have the opportunity to talk and get to talk about paranormal. It's something we absolutely love to do, and we'll do at any time. So thank you, everybody. Bobby, Charles, Ron.
And Maria, who's just
and Maria, who I think she's still with us. But thank you.
I think Maria left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to let you guys know that you are welcome at any time to invite us back again.
Yeah.
And we really, really love your show on KGRA. I think you, along with Chris Allgood, Andra, Ron, Loris, and you, I think you always produce a great show. You have a very, very fine producer. The best producer all in KGRA, Bill Forte. I love him, but I love him to death, man.
They do a great job.
You.
Race was fantastic. Bill's fantastic. We have no complaints about what they're doing. So
Race, I think Race, like if he would still be around, he'll still be like the king of like paranormal. But so yeah, just keep on listening, keep doing what you got to do and stuff like that. And it's great you invited us here today. That's very, very great. Charles?
Yeah, thank you also for the support. You guys been wonderful.
Yeah, we appreciate that very much. And like I said, we always love to talk about the paranormal. So anytime we are not previously booked, we can we'll be more than happy to talk about the paranormal.
If I don't have OT.
Yeah, October's a hard time, just a lot going on, but I'm sure there'll be opportunities in the future to do more of this. So again, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very, very much. And have a good rest of the afternoon. Actually, it's probably, do you even have an afternoon left? 3, 4, that's going on evening.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Yes. Good night, everybody. Good night.